First tune is from Elizabeth Cotton. Way down on Old Chestnut Street, place the stones in my head and feet, tell them all I've gone to sleep. Freight train, run so fast. Freight train, run so fast. Please don't tell the train I'm on, so they won't know where I'm bound. By Elizabeth Cotton. And she wrote it when she was 13 years old. I got to thinking, how could a 13-year-old come up with a song this sad? Since I got to looking into her life, and it really was quite a sad life of African American growing up in the Jim Crow days. Put music away for a long time. She got a job in a department store in Baltimore, Maryland. One day she met a woman named Ruth Crawford Seeger, who's the wife of famed musicologist Charles Seeger, and the mother of Mike Seeger and Peggy Seeger and somebody else you might have heard of, Pete Seeger. Not any relation to Bob Seeger. And anyway, these two women, Ruth and Libba Cotton, got to be friends, and Libba was looking for a new work, and the Seegers were looking for a housekeeper. She came over to work in the Seeger house. One day she got down one of the guitars that was hanging up on the wall and started playing this song. And the kids said, "What is that?" And they kind of took it upon themselves to make Libba a star. And 70 years after she wrote this song, she won a Grammy for it. Freight train, run so fast. Freight train, run so fast. Please don't tell the train I'm on, so they won't know where I'm bound. I fancy myself a songwriter too. So one of the things I did as an exercise one day was to try to put myself into Libba's shoes and see if I could add a verse to her song. Someday soon I'm gonna jump a car, of that Mountain Dew. They call it that good old Mountain Dew, and then that refuse it off you. I'll hush up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Now my brother Bill runs a still on the hill where he turns out a gallon or two. Well, the buzzards in the sky get so drunk they can't fly just from sniffing that good old Mountain Dew. They called it that good old Mountain Dew, and then that refuses it off you. I'll hush up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Well, my Uncle Moore, he's sawed off and short, yes, he measured about 4'2". Well, it feels like a giant when you give him a pint of that good old Mountain Dew. They call it that good old Mountain Dew, and then that refuse it off you. I'll push up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Oh, my Aunt June got some brand new perfume. It had such a wonderful puce shoe. But to her surprise, when she had it analyzed, it was nothing but that good old Mountain Dew. They called it that good old Mountain Dew, and then that refuse it off you. I'll hush up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Oh, the preacher, he walked by with a tear in his eye. Said his wife had the flu. He said, hadn't I ought just to give him a quart of that good old Mountain Dew. They call it that good old Mountain Dew, and then that refuse it off you. I'll push up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Oh, Mr. Franklin Roosevelt told me just how he felt on the day the old dry law went through. Said if your liquor's too red, son, it will swell up your head. Better stick to that good old Mountain Dew. They call it that good old Mountain Dew, and then that refuse it off you. I'll push up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Yes, I'll hush up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Darling, to the Tennessee Waltz, when a good friend I happened to see. I introduced him to my loved one, and while they were dancing, my old friend stole my darling from me. Well, I remember the night and the Tennessee Waltz. Only you know how much I have lost. I lost my little darling the night they were playing that beautiful Tennessee Waltz. my sweetheart from me. I remember the night in the Tennessee Waltz. Only you know how much I have lost. I lost my little darling the night they were playing that beautiful Tennessee Waltz. stood by his side, but it stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, his life's seconds numbering. It stopped short, never to go again when the old man died. My baby loves me when I'm singing. She loves me when I play. She loves to tell me that she loves me every single day. She loves me when I'm reading. She loves me when I write. She loves me when I'm dark and sad. She loves me when I'm bright. She loves me when I listen. She loves me when I sleep. She loves me when I'm shallow. She loves me when I'm deep. She loves me when I come home in the middle of the night, too tired to hold her and too tired to fight. She loves me when I'm tame. She loves me when I'm wild. She loves me when I'm smiling at a smiling little child. And if you ask her why, she'll say she loves me because she loves me, 'cause she loves me, 'cause she loves me, 'cause she does, 'cause she does, oh she does. She loves me when it's raining. She loves me when it's sunny. She loves me when I'm poor. She loves when I have money. She loves me when I'm quiet. She loves when I make noise. She loves me when I stay home, when I go out with my boys. She loves me when I'm early. She loves me when I'm late. She loves the way the peaches taste straight out of the crate. Yeah, she loves to go to parties. She loves to laugh out loud. She loves to point me out to folks in the middle of a crowd. It's that bald guy. If you ask her why, she'll say she loves me because she loves me, 'cause she loves me, 'cause she loves me, 'cause she does, 'cause she does, oh she does, oh yeah she does, oh she does. Oh yeah, she loves me when I'm preaching. She loves me when I pray. She'll love me just as much tomorrow as she does today. She loves me when I'm dreaming. She loves my wild ideas. She loves me when I'm screaming out. She wipes away my tears. She only uses words as shields and never as swords. She says only boring people get bored. And if you ask her why, she'll say she loves me because she loves me, 'cause she loves me, 'cause she loves me, 'cause she does, 'cause she does, 'cause she does. Oh yeah, she does. Oh she does. Oh yeah, she does. Oh yeah, she does. Oh yeah, she does. Oh yeah, she does. Yes, my baby loves me. Baby loves me. Loves me, loves me, loves me. Oh she does. I'm growing marijuana in my yard. Growing marijuana in my yard. Got little pots of pot spread out all over the lot, 'cause I'm growing marijuana in my yard. 'Cause I got the seed from Mexico. for free. I'm growing marijuana in my yard. Growing marijuana in my yard. We keep it where no one can see, so let's keep this between you and me. But I'm growing marijuana in my yard. So I'm growing marijuana in my yard. But I can't tell my boss or I'll get fired. I don't grow much, just what I use. I work all day and when I'm through, I smoke a little marijuana from my yard after the kids are asleep. Smoke up all that weed. He says, money's what you're in it for. Don't you know we're in a war? Now I gotta haul your ass downtown with me. And I said, hey man, what is it to you? How do I infringe on what you do? I beg your pardon if you're offended by my garden, but I just can't grow Prozac in my yard. 'Cause I grow my whole medicine in my yard. I give some to my neighbor for his heart. I share it with my grandma, who keeps it from her son. So we all know that stuff's against the law. Now there's nothing growing in my yard, 'cause the cops took all my land, both my cars. Now I have to buy my pot from a teenager in the parking lot who's growing marijuana in his yard. Oh well, I can grow it in their yard. Hey, I can show you how, it ain't hard. Never mind this president, let's just overgrow the government. And I'll grow marijuana in our yard. Let's grow some marijuana in our yard. Thank you so much. Started, maybe the kids better leave and interview other highly sensitive folks. Well, I'll try my best to keep it clean, but I've seen worse called PG-13 that didn't even really have as funny of jokes. Yeah, this story's got everything a good story needs: money and sex, corruption and greed, bribes and violent death, and if that ain't enough, it's got overseas conspiracy and underage girls, the biggest air courier company in the world. I swear to God, friends, I ain't making this stuff up. Well, I'm assuming you've all heard of DHL. Well, this story's about Mr. H himself and the crazy ways he lived and he died. And I want you folks to all understand that I'm not about to judge the man. No, his fate is now for his maker to decide. Here's that chorus. Well, a show like this, they ought to be selling tickets. A show like this won't be free for long. You want to find out what happens next? I messed up that part. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't affect the story in the least. Well, Larry started DHL modest enough. He had all his friends out driving delivery trucks, at least until the really big money started rolling in. Now, Larry didn't like giving the government money, so he moved to a place where it's always sunny and the IRS man never ever wins. Talking about Saipan, friends. Tax haven. Tropical paradise. Now, Larry really liked it out here in the tropics. He could be an expert on a whole bunch of topics, especially since he was the richest dude around. He wasn't much of a lawyer, but they made him a judge toward the U.S. government. He still held a grudge, and soon he became friends with all the politicians in town. That's the way Woody said it. No, he never dressed up in a suit and a tie, wore t-shirts and jeans like an average guy. To look at him, you might think he's some kind of bum. No, he wasn't really into material possessions. He was occupied with other obsessions, the kind that some men find so hard to overcome. See, Larry was something of a ladies' man. He was always out trying different brands, kind of like Imelda Marcos was with her shoes. A condom, Larry said, his face turning sour. I don't wear a raincoat when I'm taking a shower, so we planted a few time bombs with a 9-month fuse. Now, this part of the story, I must confess, is where things turn into a bit of a mess. You see, Larry, who was once our hero, becomes the goat. Now, man, this is the nicest way I know how to say it, is that some of Larry's girlfriends are too young to vote. But a show like this, they ought to be selling tickets. No, a show like this, it should not be free. All you gotta do to see it is open up your eyes, and you can have a seat right next to me. Now Larry had another peculiar passion. He bought a couple of old planes that were way out of fashion. He tried like hell to fly them on his own. No, he was always asking people if he wanted to ride, but his pilot's application came back denied, so most people decided they'd rather just stay home. So it was bound to happen. Sooner or later, the more he did it, the odds got greater that each flight Larry took would be the end. Well, it's going on about 20 years since Larry and his plane just disappeared, and he was never ever seen or heard from again. Lost on the high seas. Shark food, I guess. Well, soon as Larry was gone, the crappy fans' business partner and big plane, they thought Larry's fortune should be their own. So they cooked up a scheme one night really late and borrowed some money and took over to the estate, putting up all Larry's stock to get the loan. Well, just then a couple of Larry's time bombs showed up and said, "Now wait a minute, that stuff belongs to us because we're the only descendants of Larry." Well, the judge took a look at what had just gone down. He scratched his head and he said with a frown, "I don't know what you guys did, but it sure looks bad." Now this is all new to Larry's friends because they were used to getting away with everything, especially when Larry was around to help out the cause. They all looked at Larry when the skies got gray. He'd throw money at problems and he'd just go away, and if they didn't, well, he'd run out and change the laws. He knew that, you know, being all influential with the courts and everything. Yeah, they wrote up a special piece of legislation disinheriting children whose parents' relations have occurred outside the marriage institution. Not one bit of shame showed on their faces when they made it apply to pending cases, even though they knew that was against the Constitution. Larry's kids and their lawyers all jumped up and shouted, "Hey, don't you even want to find out if we can prove our claims are real through DNA?" But the deals were cut in smoky back rooms between the local leaders and Larry's friends' goons, and the law was bought on Capitol Hill that day. So that's where we are in the story right now. I'm hoping for a happy ending somehow, but it's looking like it's going to be in court for quite a while. So in the meantime, I'll just hope and pray that one of these days they'll test the DNA, but until that happens, I'm just going to sit back and smile. Because a show like this, they ought to be selling tickets. A show like this should not be free. You want to find out what happens next, you got to tune in to NBC. And you can have the seat right next to me. All right, so well, that's about all I can talk about now because I'm under a confidentiality valve, and we've been celebrating this settlement now for a while. So there's not a whole lot more I can say, but for those of you wondering about the DNA, take one guess why I'm wearing this great big smile. Because a show like this, they're gonna start selling tickets. A show like this won't be free for long. If you wanna find out what happens next, you gotta come out to hear me play and sing. And I'll keep adding verses to this song. Thanks so much. Rambling around this dirty old town, singing for nickels and dimes. Time's getting tough, I ain't got enough to buy me a bottle of wine. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Leave me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. A little hotel, older than hell, dark as the coal in the mine. My blanket's so thin, I just lay there and grin. Gonna got a little bottle of wine. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Leave me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. buds in my bed. My pants are so old that they shine. Out on the street, I ask the people I meet, hey, could you buy me a bottle of wine? Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Leave me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. So, that's the song the way Tom originally wrote it. This is the verse I added to express my gratitude for these kind folks who do pay me to do this, believe it or not. And then they also do. They let us solicit tips. We let all those people get out of here without even telling them that, you know. So maybe y'all can tell them at breakfast how much y'all tip. And we have these QR codes around. You can do it by your phone without having to.
I assume you accept cookies?
We accept cookies. Oh yeah, we accept coins, checks, cash, bearer bonds. Yeah, you know, whatever it takes. So where to begin with the folks here at the end? They've always been good friends of mine. They pay me to play and drink Chardonnay from a bottomless bottle of wine. Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Leave me alone, let me go home. Let me go back and start over. Let me go back and start over. Let me go back and start over. Thank you so much. This is Bud Davis. I'm Ben Scales. Thanks so much for being the best band records in the world.
Great audience.
Woo! Best audience ever.